Good evening. I'm Maven of the Eventide. Welcome back to Vampire Playthroughs. We are playing Vampire the Masquerade Shadows of New York. And with me tonight is...
the same guy as always, curmudgeonly me.
And Paul, I think this is our last time playing this game.
They were absolutely right, Maven. This may be our last time playing this game.
Are you gonna miss it? Are you gonna miss this like spooky load screen?
Oh goodness, no.
The demons in the background, the dust motes.
The dust. Yes, I'll miss the dust motes the most.
Julia and the girlfriend that she totally dumped for no reason. Oh my god, that fight was so stupid.
That was very contrived.
Yeah.
But, you know, vampires are always loners.
If you are hearing this episode on my Patreon, you're hearing it the last weekend of July. If you are hearing it on YouTube, it's probably been a couple weeks because YouTube keeps copyright claiming my videos, so I have to...
I keep offering to make an a cappella version, but he keeps on saying no.
Yeah, so I put some of this music that we're listening to right now over the video and it gets claimed, and then I say it's part of the game, it shouldn't be claimed, and then, you know, 30 days later they're like, okay, and they release it. But it's still obnoxious to deal with. What would your a cappella version sound like, Paul?
It'd be great, but, you know, the world may never hear it.
Oh.
Besides, I used up all my creative juices on the Bloodlines a cappella.
So, last we left, we suspected we were coming into Endgame, and according to what people have said in the comments, it sounds like we were right. Because of the choices we've made with Julia's character, she's gone the dark route, not the light route, which, you know, we're a La Sombra. That seems to make sense.
Brand,
yeah. We're playing this character.
It's almost like we're playing a role in this game.
Almost. But considering how much of it's just decided for us.
Oh, right. Yeah, we got to go see, like, Mr. Justin McElroy over here.
No, we can't. We got to rest. First, we're going to rest.
Oh.
But just to remind ourselves, our traits are loyal only to myself, so we're selfish. Glass half full, we're optimistic. Not into the bad cop shtick, we're not. But yeah, we kicked that guy's ass. That was like a bad cop shtick.
Well, I mean, we didn't really have a good cop to go off of, so... It's not really a shtick, you're just a bad cop.
You can't be a writer and not lie. That's true. I think that's true for all vampires. They should all be manipulative. The ends justify the means. Duh. That was when we kicked the guy's ass. That's our personality. That's the role-playing we've done.
Ooh, ominous thunder.
Yeah, it's you guys can't hear it on the microphone, but it's just crackling thunder outside.
I'll add it in post.
Oh yeah, thanks. Yeah, there we go.
Crackoom.
Right, we are going to rest after we just dumped our girlfriend and kicked her out of the house. Or did we leave? No, we kicked her out because we got to sleep because we're a vampire.
It is our place, I think.
No, it was her place from
the start.
Her
place. Oh.
Yeah, remember we lost our place and she's like, you can come stay with me. For me, it always starts with an image. Oh yeah, here's that ghost room again. Looks like
This looks exactly like any basement in a New York apartment. Like that's where the laundry machines would be.
Yep, and
that's where the recycling bins go.
And that's where your ghost goes.
Yeah, I mean they all have murder basements. It's New York.
An image which might be vaguely eerie or interesting, but usually not an image that would provoke particularly strong feelings by itself. Usually it hides a mystery. That much is correct. But that mystery doesn't exist without a text, or more specifically, a context. Context is everything.
Is that saying that she's against text? You could have said something instead of just giving me that look for like 5 seconds straight. They can't see that. You need to make like some sort of an audible either tee-hee or
It's always going to be an
All right. So just assume she went gentle listener.
One way or another, you need to process what you're looking at. Maybe that context will be something you've heard of or overheard.
Personally, I'm pro-text. Should I just leave?
Maybe. Although it's quite rare and pretty special. It will be your very own creative, captivating, complete interpretation. A ghost of an idea. Oh, Julia's the one making the bad jokes.
Okay. At least someone's able to, you know, take some of the pressure off of me.
In this half-forgotten memory of something unspeakably beautiful...
Oh, we're going to watch The Lion King.
I will never...
That is the...
I'm trying to have a moment here.
Oh, yeah, I know, but they ruined it with their... Oh, all right. Well, it's just Lion King just took a really dark turn.
I like this montage. It's very vampire-y. Is this a half... Oh my god, I'm gonna kick you.
Go ahead.
No, I don't
I promise not to do it until it goes again, so hurry up.
Is this a half-forgotten memory of something unspeakably beautiful?
Okay. I thought you were just giving me room to do it.
No, I'm just like tripping over these words because you keep messing with me, you jerk.
I was trying to be good. You left me an opening. What was I supposed to do?
Is this a half-forgotten memory of something unspeakably beautiful? I will never... Oh my god!
I did it quietly.
Let me just do it for real, please.
Yes, ma'am.
Is this a half-forgotten memory of something unspeakably beautiful I will never, ever see again? Just a scene from a movie? Yes.
Which movie?
The Lion King.
See? She was literally leaning into it.
A fragment of a music video? An animation?
So, no, it's the original, not the live-action, quote-unquote CG remake.
Or maybe this really is the last thing Callahan ever saw in his own life?
Is that the last movie he saw before he died?
Oh yeah, he was just watching Lion King before I showed up. Warm sunbeams caressing his skin and turning it to ash. A giant ball of fire engulfing his body in flame from 93 million miles away. Was he terrified? Was he grateful? There's no will, no suicide note, no nothing. Instead, we can only count on what the local historians will write, presumably letting their biases shape the narrative one way or the other. What am I looking at here? A horrible, laughable hall of mirrors? A creep whom I never, ever want to see again? A vampire much more despicable than myself? Or maybe someone who loved taking care of me and deserved to be cared for in return? Funny thing, whenever I was high as a kite, mentally lost in dimensions parallel to ours, she was my anchor. Our shared history, my feelings for her were an anchor. Matthew McConaughey, returning to his estranged daughter from the other side of the cosmos, from beyond the event horizon, guided by nothing but love.
Matthew McConaughey wasn't in Event Horizon.
Isn't that the J-Lo movie?
No, that's The Cell.
Oh, they were both scary space movies. No, wait, that wasn't a space movie.
Oh my gosh.
I saw them like the same week, okay?
Okay, alright, that's fine. The Cell, for all its misgivings, I do like that movie. I still have it on DVD somewhere.
I don't remember why everyone said it was so horrible.
I think it was just because J-Lo was in it and they didn't trust her.
Yeah, she's gorgeous. Then whenever I got back to planet Earth for a week or two, I was haunted by a memory of that affection. I was the best possible version of myself toward her.
Well, we haven't seen it.
No, she's talking about pretending to be...
No, it's like she was the best version of herself when she was with what's-her-face, but like every time...
Well, she said after she got back to Earth, so she got high, and then she'd be bad, and then when she came down, she was the best self.
That sounds like not a great relationship.
Yeah. But that haunting always refused to transfigure into something real. What gradually took its place were angry, disappointed thoughts. And among them, one thought that I was always trying to suppress. I need someone who'd know how to raise me up spiritually. But all I have is a sycophant who's always working her ass off to lift me up without understanding what I need. It's hurting us both. Having these words pop into my head hurt me because they had a ring of truth to them, but also because I knew there must be another narrative. A better narrative. I was just too stupid to find it. Story of my life. Story of my own life. I still have no idea what I think about the city. I had my the best city in the world phase, I had a just a playground for wealthy fucktards phase, and now I'm in search of a better description. One day, probably, I will stumble upon, like, a scene of writing or a prestigious TV show scene that will contain just that. And suddenly, I will look at this place with new eyes. Or maybe I won't. It's like the frustrations I had back at Lodestar. All these words constantly trailing behind reality, trapping you in useless mindsets instead of bringing enlightenment. Fuck all those flashy writers whose main concern is furthering their own brand. Douchebags who present you with limited, pathetic, depressing realities where they're all kings. Fuck them all to hell.
Where exactly is this rant going?
Endgame. This is our endgame monologue.
But it has... I fail to see the relevance to anything that's happened up until this point.
She's just feeling feels, I think.
She's just feeling... Okay.
She's feeling her feels, and she's kind of like come to her truth and like seek her Jesus.
Sure. Okay.
We need words that will paint a brighter future before our eyes. But what if that can't be done without reinterpreting the past first? What if we haven't even defined the ills and threats correctly? Once again, my thoughts return to the same visual that has been tormenting me for almost every waking moment of this past week. A senseless demise devoid of any context. A crime scene stripped of evidence. An image created by an unknown artist designed to leave you dumbfounded.
This is my design.
The investigation is over. All possible avenues explored. All the non-testimonies are in. No concrete evidence found. The play is almost complete. The actors ready to leave the stage. It is what it is. I failed as a detective. Maybe through no fault of my own, but again, it is what it is. This case, this scene, and this picture never needed an investigator. From what I understand, all the people in charge ever wanted was a talented writer. What if a ghost of an idea? When I wake up, Dakota is still not here. I don't know how to feel about that, so I just don't. Kadir hasn't left any messages by the door. Still that mad, huh? He will probably appeal to the court to take me off the case, and if half of the garbage Kaiser was spouting is correct, he shouldn't have much trouble convincing everyone. I look in the mirror and stare at my warped non-reflection. This place is upsetting. You need to change the scenery, girl. The depressing streets of a lockdown New York City will do. Oh, so one person in the comments said that the original version of this game was released pre-COVID, and it didn't incorporate COVID at all, and then they released a revised version that included all this COVID stuff.
Oh, okay. I mean, it doesn't affect the story all too terribly, I would imagine. There's still seen to be people out and about as much as usual. No one's wearing masks or anything, so...
Yeah, because they were making it in 2019 to be set in 2020 because it was going to release in 2020. But when they were making it, they didn't know about COVID, so they released it, and by the time they released it, they're like, oh shit, we didn't incorporate that. So then they went back and revised it.
Quick, release the COVID patch.
I think of God. Maybe that's why I half-consciously picked the cathedral as my destination. I think of the silver cross adorning my chest, an empty signifier. Whenever someone asks me why I wear it, they hear a different story. Let me tell you how I got this cross. I think of these silhouettes that I keep spotting from the corner of my eye. No, I don't even want to imagine what that means. I feel what it means, and it makes me nauseous enough. I think of my clan, so closely tied to the Catholic Church. It's a loveless marriage, so to speak. Like, for example, the one between my parents. Think about the great irony of Lasombra's truce with the Holy See. We are the only ones who stay so close to the Lord's light, even though we're certain we will never, ever reach it. Some of us shadows have visions. Visions of comrades who departed this world recently, traveling through some abstract space, one that's disturbing and astonishing in equal measures. They almost reach whatever afterlife there is for our kind, but then get caught and consumed by a dark, monstrous silhouette. The rumor is our antediluvian wasn't stopped by his final death. He's still out there behind the shadows, taking revenge for our patricide, feeding on us like Saturn devouring his children.
We have that painting.
What is an antediluvian?
No.
the forebearers of every kindred belonging to the 13 vampire clans.
Wait, there's 4 bears per 13 vampire clans?
I'm gonna smack you. These vicious bastards of the 3rd generation created the world as we know it, and some features of our blood are said to have originated with them. Thanks for cutting me out of the internet, you Mesopotamian dickweed. Is what I'd say if I didn't have a premonition we might see each other again someday, somehow, because apparently he didn't cross over into the afterlife when he got offed, because he's a shadow.
And who is this again?
The progenitor of our clan.
Right.
So there were 13 vampires in the 3rd generation of vampires, and they each spawned the clan, like the tribes of Israel.
Mm-hmm.
So he was the very first Lasombra.
Okay.
As Dakota would say, it might not be factual, but it is an emotional truth. From joining the Camarilla to panically scrambling for any safe houses, it's like our elders are solely motivated by fear. The sins of our fathers are catching up with them, and it's young kindred, like me, who are given responsibility to clean up their mess with the constant sense of doom looming over the horizon. We don't talk about salvation anymore, just minimizing the impact of damnation.
That's a cogent simile for today.
That's nowhere to live. Then again, maybe that's why they call it unlife. Shit, it's Benoit.
It's Benoit. Hello there, lost sheep. I'll have you know this shepherd was extraordinarily patient in waiting for you. What are you doing here while the night is so young? Out for blood? Well, you're in luck. This place offers both the body and blood.
If missionaries learned their methods from pickup artists, they would all be like this guy. I'm not in the mood, you sorry-ass bum. Step the fuck away from me, or you're going to be sorry.
Oh my. Something troubling you? If so, I can arrange a confession.
Yeah, I'm a badass now. I have that trait. Now I'm a badass.
Oh,
right?
sweet.
Yeah.
Or, if you're in a hurry, keep in mind the path from inner turmoil begins with a friendly ear, and I've got one right here.
Hey, who'd you take that from? Put it back. Goodbye, Ivana Toya. You want me to fuck you up, don't you? Don't you?
What? Julia, you should know by now I always interpret this kind of response to preaching the divine as the devil stirring inside. Is that what this is, Julia? The liar and the father of lies got a hold on your soul? If so, give me a signal, even the smallest one. I'll do my best to spot it.
Blink 3 times if you're possessed by the devil. Something swells up inside my chest. I recognize the feeling. The handbrake just broke, and I'm definitely not on level ground. Fuck. Here we go.
Hit him.
Listen, I've had enough, all right? Enough. Enough of your sanctimonious attitude, enough of your brazen lack of basic empathy, enough of your dumb, ugly fucking mug! Your fucking singularity of stupidity, tastelessness, and cringe. I've met all sorts of horrible shitheads and asshats this week, and somehow none of them got under my skin the way you do, you motherfucker. Goddamn Jehovah's Witness going door to door, except you're always knocking on my fucking skull, going, hey, do you know God exists? Have you heard that God exists? Like...
Hold it right there. You're persecuting me. When did I ever say that God exists?
What?
I said, what makes you think I believe God exists?
Oh, now you're just fucking with me.
No, I'm serious.
Well, you sound serious at least. I'm actually speechless.
I think there's been some sort of silly misunderstanding that desperately needs to be cleared up.
I'm all ears.
I sure hope so, Julia. I feel like you must have ignored half of what I've been saying for you to reach those conclusions.
That's very well possible. Actually, it usually takes 15 seconds of him talking to get me completely zoned out.
So to avoid any further mix-ups, I will go back to the beginning and explain the core of my religious... Oh, God. I love the Catholic imagery, I cherish the tradition and lore, I adore the practices, the intricacies of theology, the messages contained in the Bible, of course I do. Does that mean I believe that one day I will see the Big Daddy in the sky? Forgive me, Lord, I don't think so. It doesn't sound very likely, especially for a bloodthirsty creature of the night.
So, that's what this is about. Fun imagery.
That's overly simplified, but yeah, I suppose you could say that.
So he just likes it for the aesthetic?
Well, I mean, it's the same reason you're wearing a cross, I think.
Motherfucker, you ain't Catholic. You're just a weirdo cosplayer.
Says a non-practitioner who still wears a cross.
Yeah. I don't shove it down people's throats for fun in my spare time.
I'm simply trying to share the joys religion has brought to my own life with others.
What joys?
Oh, where to start? And there are so many. The joy of having a plainly understandable rules to follow. The joy of having a structure to your life. The joy of always knowing where to find people who share your values. Above all is the joys of being an aristocracy, surrounding oneself with exquisite, luxurious architecture, beautiful classical music, ornate rituals formalizing our actions and relationships.
Can you tell he's a Toreador?
This is insufferable. A pursuit of virtue separating you from the masses, the hierarchies, the communities, all serving an idea greater than themselves. It's like monarchy or some Camarilla traditions, but not as gauche.
So that's what it was? You saw pretty paintings and buildings and thought, hell yeah, I want in, and then you just decided what they mean to you?
I mean, don't get me wrong, it's real faith that brought me into the fold, but eventually I whittled down this religion to its core, to what interests me.
Unbelievable.
I don't think for a second I wasn't empathetic when I was trying to convert you. You are the embodiment of existential despair surrounding us. The one that people usually try to drown out with drugs, sex, work, Netflix, pick your poison, all of them temporary copes. Empty yourself, kill your ego, get a routine, join a community, ground your morality in something tangible, start perceiving yourself as part of something greater. All of it good advice by itself, but codified in an appealing otherworld aesthetic. One that keeps the beast at bay. One you're almost fitting into the way that you are. Was there to hate?
Unbelievable. You're a goddamn lunatic. He looks to the sky.
Father, forgive them. They know not what they do.
I love that I have gender-neutral pronouns. Stop that. Your entire ideology is just aesthetics. You're fucking loon.
And how exactly do I differ from anyone else nowadays in this regard?
Stop arguing semantics.
That's all I have. No, you stop. Just look at yourself. A privileged burnout who refuses to invest yourself in anything. Only started committing to anything when for once in your own life you were forced into a politically charged, dangerous task. Once it's over, you'll be back to being an aimless brat.
Desire to murder increases?
Ever since World War II, I've been watching every person and every ideal I care about wither and disappear. That's the source of my pain. That's the reason I am what I am. The source of your pain. The thing that defines you. People have been mean to you. Boo-hoo.
Fuck off. People in third world countries keep their heads high while suffering from every sort of horror, but you have a complete mental breakdown every time you remember you have mommy issues.
Wow, classy.
Oh, don't act like you have the high ground here, you oblivious sadist. All I'm saying is everyone has a different framework, a different lens to view their suffering through.
Yeah, and if there's one thing abandoning your humanity should have shown you, it's that kind frameworks are not enough. Petty vendettas, childish romances, pointless power struggles, the dumb gamble that's chasing a successful career. Mommy and daddy issues, sure, why not? Pain and pleasure dictate everything. Everyone wants something bigger than this. They want to escape from this drudgery. They want psychedelia. They want to stare at God's face, even if he does not exist. And you can show them how. Accept the cross you're wearing into your heart, Julia. Accept it.
Creepy fucker.
Just accept it. Alright, that'll be enough, Benoit.
Mood changes in an instant. The sight of Father Leonard takes us both aback.
Father, what are you doing here so early? Daddy's home. You two are arguing so loudly I had to come out and check. Even if, with all the panic on TV these days, simply walking outside feels like marching into a war zone. No, sorry. You should be. I was willing to turn a blind eye to your quirks, because I believe you have your heart in the right place, mostly, but I'm very disappointed in the way you approach folks in need.
Right now, Benoit Segal is displaying all the confidence of a scolded teacher's favorite.
I was just trying to guide her, set her on the right path. I know, Benoit, I know. That's the problem. The sacristy is open. Please head there right now. We need to have a long talk. Give me some coffee, if you wish. But, Benoit...
He slowly slinks away, looking defeated, deflated, debased. I burn the moment into my retinas, etch it on my soul, kind of hoping I'll never have to see him again, and this is how I'll remember him. Father Leonard watches him closely until he disappears from sight, then turns to me.
What are you doing tonight? I feel sorry for him. I keep hoping he might find some basic empathy through faith, but all I've done thus far is to let him leave you at the end of your tether.
Yeah, that's some faith he has. Are you okay with all the bullshit he's spouting?
I don't exactly support it, but I don't reject it. It's like attrition and contrition. Imperfect and perfect repentance. You know, one is focused on a relationship with God, the other selfish and focused on personal gain. But both of them work.
Yeah, but doesn't this strike you as completely missing the point?
A bit, but purely secular takes on Christ's teachings are nothing new. Pascal's wager is a boring example, but have you by chance read Bulgakov's The Master and Margarita?
I have read that book.
Sounds delicious.
It's a Faustian story.
Oh.
Margarita is like Marguerite from Faust. The devil is a character. There's a cat that talks.
Ooh, so it's like Sabrina.
Sure. Back in Poland, every teen trying to look intellectual online loved to repeat that joke about the talking cat who swears he'd never pour vodka for a lady because women deserve pure alcohol.
You know, if she was a teenager in Poland, she would probably have a pretty good accent here.
Yeah, if I had known that from the start of the game, I would have given her an accent. I love doing accents.
That's one takeaway from that novel, I suppose. I read it as a moving depiction of Christ, who's not a divine being, stripped of mythic qualities, but open for transcendence. Jesus and Satan understood as powerful forces battling within us.
Would have to read it again and spend too long. Sounds nice, though. I stretch lazily and take out another smoke. Leonard watches me closely before speaking again.
Julia. 4 hours from now, there's going to be a meeting in the Elysium. A big finale of celebrations of power. Everyone will be there, but they're counting on you to not show up. The good sheriff plans to present the results of the investigation in your stead. It's a simple, crude strategy, might work, but begs to be countered with an outrageous tactic. Take it as you will.
Ooh, he's on the side of chaos, I see.
I have chosen chaos. The game is about to end.
A little meta there.
Hit Alt F4.
Momentarily, I'm left dumbfounded. All I can muster is an eloquent...
Oh, don't ask me. I'm just the messenger.
From whom?
The developers.
If it's not Kadir, then... Who relayed this message to you, then?
A good friend. A cautious friend. Wouldn't be able to tell you more than that even if you forced me to. Do you want to force me to?
Well, when you put it that way. Well, shit.
I might divulge it under torture.
This is the moment that might decide the rest of my days. What would you do in my place, Father?
When I was faced with a dilemma that would shape the rest of my life, the world felt too big and scary and impossible to understand. So I simply escaped from that choice into the seminary.
Ooh, that's dark. Yeah, if that's your idea of good advice, I'm gonna have to ask you to shove it.
I would expect nothing less. Speaking of shoving it, I can still give you that information you want.
Don't you regret it?
Regret what?
kind of shady, but don't seem like a bad guy. Still, you have to accept the people above you are responsible for some horrible things.
If our superiors' acts count as our own sins, then on the face of it, probably half the people in this world are irredeemable.
Clever, but not a real answer. And being a low-level grunt for assholes you find wholly objectionable is no way to live. I would know.
I don't know. Is it?
Oh, burn! Oh. I finish the smoke in silence.
This is awkward.
I have to go. Don't know if and when we'll see each other again, but when that happens, I probably won't be the same old me.
Thank God for that. Of course, but before I leave to scold Benoit, let me say one more thing.
Ooh, he's gonna get a scolding. Yeah?
I've been bad. These are difficult times. My parishioners keep calling me. The things people are going through, they might never admit, but if this keeps up, it will cause horrifying, invisible damage to this nation.
Well, let me tell you something. 2 years later, Father Leonard, it has kept up, and we have horrifying, visible damage to this nation.
This is true. This is true.
It's pretty bad.
A dreadful darkness is killing us all, little by little, and like every powerful evil, it manifests itself little by little.
I've never heard COVID called a dreadful darkness before, but, you know.
Are you still thinking about COVID? I'm just thinking about, like, all the other things that are threatening our lives on a daily basis.
Just the general political state of the nation. The dreadful darkness.
Yeah. Ennui. And yet, as sinful as it may be, I confess to being strangely excited. For a moment, we're seeing this suffocating normal disappear. This is the time to dream a new world is possible. Walk these empty streets, Julia. Remember how the city feels right now, bask in its shadows and uncertainties. After the apocalypse comes the great rebirth.
Oh, that'd be nice if we had a rebirth after COVID was over.
That just sounds like a cultist.
Well,
he is a Catholic. The Amici Noctis awaits your next report with great curiosity.
Does that mean night friends?
I guess so.
My night friends?
Yeah.
I could use some Amici Noctis in my life. I give him a nod and I sprint away. Now I know what I must do. Hey, Moon, my long constant companion. When I moved here for good from, you know, the old country, you were the only close friend who kept me company. Never felt in the right place back there. Never felt in the right place here, especially now. I'm not quite alive, not quite dead, not that Slavic, not that American. But maybe it's about time I finally carve out some space for myself.
I'm going to the moon.
It's been a long road, hasn't it, Moon?
Going to the one place untouched by capitalism. Space.
Wish me luck. I catch him in front of the art hole because, of course, he had to be the first person I met there.
No way. No.
I'm gonna be the laughingstock of the entire city if I don't show up to the resolution of my own investigation. How about you demonstrate a modicum of courtesy?
Courtesy? Girl, I should put you on trial. I can't guarantee I eventually won't. You've messed with Kaiser, the eminent degrees of this city, beaten him to a pulp like a random goon. He will do everything he can to destroy you from now on, and my bet is he'll succeed.
Whatever will be, will be. For now, at the very least, I'd like to show the court I'm not a baby fledgling who can't see a task she was given to the end.
You're making a huge mistake. How did you even learn this meeting is happening in the first place?
Maybe I'm not as trash an investigator as you thought I was.
I never said...
But you're showing it.
Sure, that's not a fair assessment. I wanted you to finish this whole mess myself for your own good.
It would be nice if you asked what I think next time. I'm actually pissed off he tried to pull this off without me. But not letting it show. Counting on being able to guilt trip him into submission. His deep sigh of resignation proves that my tactic was successful.
Fine, but you will stay quiet. The whole time, no tricks, ifs, or buts.
But of course.
I said no buts. This way.
We step into the maw of the gallery. The celebrations of power are almost over. Everyone is back to their usual respective styles again, looking weary of each other's company, trapped in their own little worlds. The art hole is nearly empty now, and Kadir is gently strong-arming the last remaining nobodies into leaving the premises. Eventually, only me and a select few of the New York Camarilla VIPs remain.
Oh, Miss Lewinsky, barely made it, huh?
The asshole with a glued-on smile spots me first, and he's just as authentically enthused to see me as ever. So he finally showed his face around here.
I wasn't sure you would join us tonight. Kadir made this meeting sound like a one-man show.
The preparations took me a bit longer than I thought they would. I apologize.
Had to make a PowerPoint, huh? I know how it is. Are you, by chance, planning to surprise us with something?
Well, if I was planning something, it wouldn't be a surprise if I told you now, would it?
Oh, touché. Can I have everyone's attention, please? We're about to begin.
Everyone remaining in the building gathers around Kadir.
Ah, exciting.
Is everyone present? Present.
And accounted for.
My friends.
Yes. Before we begin, let me welcome an unusual guest to our fold. She gestures toward the corner, from behind which emerges a silhouette that would have never, ever appeared here under normal circumstances.
Name's Torque. I'm the Baron of the Bronx. I was delegated here by my compatriots as an oversight authority. I'm here to observe the results of the investigation, nothing more, nothing less.
Let me stress this one last time. This is a one-time occurrence meant to alleviate the tensions in the city. Not a symbol of mutual recognition, not in the slightest. I peek at Addison's face and get a feel for how the hardline loyalist might grapple with this arrangement. His expression betrays no surprise, only a slight discomfort. If even he is fine with it, the prince must have been extremely convincing about the necessity of a temporary truce. Or about some Machiavellian tactic she's got ready up her sleeve. Who knows?
Of course. We may have irreconcilable differences, but there are times they have to be temporarily put aside in order to quell unrest and open paths for constructive, meaningful change.
If anyone would like to voice their concerns, the time is now. Torque, Arturo, and Pinard exchange glances. Normally, I'd consider it an innocent gesture. Knowing what I know, I roll my eyes. A stick or a carrot, Torque? What made you break and sell your compatriots? How much do you really know? If not, Kadir?
May I?
He steps into the middle of the room and clears his throat theatrically.
First, let me plainly state the conclusion I'm about to present is by no means my own achievement. It is the result of a tireless investigation conducted by talented kindred I won't name here.
A telling glance in Torque's direction serves as a succinct explanation for why he refuses to call them by their names.
And, of course, Julia Sawinski, whose ceaseless groundwork over the past few nights served as a foundation for the findings that are about to be revealed here. Thank you, Julia.
It's not the first time he sets out to oversell my achievements.
As the sheriff, my role here is mostly representative. I spent the last few days overseeing the celebrations in Elysium, making sure no harm would befall anyone present. Luckily, none did. Looks like the prince's decision to move forward with the event was the correct one.
And for that, we should extend our thanks to Kadir, and let us not overlook our guest to a degree.
I managed to convince my key allies that diplomatic action is the only way forward in this case. No matter how wrong-headed the enemy can be, we still need avenues to negotiate and communicate.
I'm curious how Tamika would react to him looking like a corporate bastard designing the future order, dismissing potential for change that lies in unrest. No wonder she dumped him. Spares the empty pleasantries and let Kadir move on. I don't have all night for this.
Right, I'll be concise. Douglas Boss Callahan's remains were found in his office by one of his ghouls first thing in the evening. The first kindred to confirm it was another Anarch Baron, Torque, present here.
a mystery book author who would refer to the circumstances of Callahan's death as a classic closed-room mystery. The metal door, locked from the inside, served as the sole way in. There was no murder weapon, no useful testimonies, and the evidence was, how do I put it, barely circumstantial at best. What was left for us was one hell of a puzzle. One where the answer couldn't even be approached using the tried and tested question, Cui bono?
Is that a joke?
I don't know.
I don't get the reference.
We were presented with a poorly timed power upheaval, a tense situation where a long-planned celebration was in danger. Suddenly, we were all faced with an uncertain future. Everybody benefited, yet no one did. No one was especially fond of Callahan, but it's not like anyone seemed particularly keen on removing him from the equation, especially at this time. What about keeping it concise? For a moment, we were sure this was the beginning of an offensive on the part of the Camarilla. We started wondering just how violent our retaliation should be. And as for us, while we were momentarily convinced that the Anarchs were plotting to blame us for their own internal power struggles, a tense situation resolved only thanks to skillful and swift diplomacy. Dare I say, yet another victory for our talented prince. Julia made sure to examine all the contacts Callahan may have had in his last days. In both sets, her efforts were tireless, and only rarely misguided.
He just had to spit out at last one biting remark, didn't he? Oh well, he's probably just covering his ass.
But as exhaustive as they might have been, they only served to muddle the possibilities, not explain them. Callahan had lots of enemies, but they were the most infuriating kind of enemies one can have, folks who barely have ever thought of him anymore. In other words, no one really had a particular interest in getting rid of him, because they could always simply work their way around him. Just before last Christmas, he even witnessed the first ever successful First Light raid against his extremely profitable blood trade supply lines. The lone ace up his sleeve, a downright shady ability to perfectly maneuver around all SI activities, gone. Callahan's decline was made apparent to all, and a domino effect made his empire slowly crumble. Up until recently, he's done an admirable job keeping up with the times and getting away with murder, but suddenly, all of the prison spotlights were on him. The recent stories we hear about him all depict a depressed, downright manic recluse, lashing out at everyone, struggling and utterly failing to fit into the new reality he found himself in.
How come I didn't know about any of this? Like, when I was researching him, why didn't I find out this stuff and, like, draw conclusions of my own?
I have no idea what's going on, so...
Like, why wasn't this part of what I learned? Why is the game just putting it here?
A closed room, no evidence of a struggle, a lack of strong whodunits. The corpse being found in the very early evening hours. The conclusion is simple. Callahan's final death was self-inflicted. Suicide, to put it in simple terms.
Huh. Silence has filled the room. So, wow, that really is the angle they'll be pushing, isn't it? Let's hear it, Sheriff.
I will explain. It was an independent detective who first sent me onto this theory only last night. There's no suicide note of any kind, of course, but the message our recently departed have sent may not have been necessarily a verbal one. The peculiar thing was the position of the body. It was like an arrow pointing us to notice something. With his last ounce of strength, he pointed to M and S for Maggie Simpson. It appeared the last thing Callahan saw in his unlife was a portrait of one Lord Castlereagh, the second Marquis of Londonderry, which is, coincidentally, where Callahan was born. To most, he was a reviled traitor.
A heartless oppressor of all dissent, the main threat against each rebellion the Irish have gone through, successful in all ways but those that mattered to his people. Some call him a tragic figure, holding together selfish allies against a common threat, always fighting for painful and unpopular compromises, ruined by overwork, sickness, and poor public speaking skills. Not hard to see why Douglas Callahan would empathize.
Polite snickers.
Indeed. Especially when you realize that the sickness in his blood, his failures, the hatred from his own people, and a growing paranoia led him to commit a dramatic suicide within his own four walls.
Huh, I see.
Are you buying this? The assumption is, instead of stabbing himself to death with a knife or a pen, he decided to let the sun embrace him and its warmth. Castlereagh's faith burning into his eyes, a poetic final death.
I want to know who this ghost is back here.
Well, there's one in your room too, but no one ever mentions it. It's not the closure that we may have wanted, but it's probably the best explanation of his motivation that we're going to get. Does everyone follow?
Capiche?
He fell down the stairs.
A heavy silence fills the room. Nobody speaks up, except Prince Bernard. To me, it is all painfully understandable, agreeable, and most importantly, it fits the man I've come to understand over the last 2 decades. Consistent murmurs resonate through the room.
Agreed. And I might add, there were some irregularities in the handling of the crime scene, but the Anarch leader's findings suggested Callahan's resentful ghouls were to blame. Folks have been real happy to see him dead, is all I'm saying, and they went overboard with the celebrations. They've all been interrogated, though. Yes, I have received all the resulting intel, and it's done nothing to change my mind. Their depictions of Callahan's state of mind only serve to support the suicide theory. It is my suggestion that we all announce these findings to our respective communities first thing tomorrow night.
Sounds reasonable, and I think that concludes this meeting. I let the Keeper of Elysium do the honors. No time wasted, huh? All right. Does anyone have anything to add? Any questions to ask? Take your time. Silence. I'll look at everyone just sitting it out in perfect agreement. Congrats, everyone. Congrats, us. We've achieved a perfect victory. No loose ends, no rocking the boat, no nothing. Makes you want to puke. How many of them contributed to this final report? How strongly does Kadir believe the shit running from his mouth? He's always been a Camarilla loyalist, a fanatic even, but... Miss Julia, any final statements? This is it. Now or never. If anyone can blow this pathetic charade wide open, it's me. But there's no coming back from this road. And it has a cost. I've spent all my life and unlife on social climbing, and the sunken cost fallacy is kicking in. Challenging them here might be my only way of ever making it out of the pit I'm in. On the other hand, maybe this is my time to head into the unknown. Kill my ego, at least temporarily. Shut up the voice of the elders screaming in my head. Betray my La Sombra instincts. Okay, so those are the 2 routes we could have taken. I'm guessing our route is the first one.
Oh, yeah. I mean, she's miserable where she is, so she might as well shake it up some.
Make all these ghosts go away and figure out something new, no matter how scary it might be. Do I dare? Or maybe I don't. I feel like there's an incredible prize to be won, waiting right in front of me if I just dare to take out this revolver with its single bullet I have hidden on me, and invite everyone here for a crazy game of Russian roulette.
I have no idea what her stake is in all of this. It's like, why?
Well, she knows the truth, and she knows they're all lying, and it pisses her off because she's got this ego, and she's like, I could kill my ego and just let them get away with it and not be like, but I was right.
But what does she care?
This is her life. This is her world. What else has she got? She's that, like, sad and depressed. What else has she got, you know?
Okay.
But I also get this foreboding gangster movie feeling, like, this is the scene where the future mobster could have gotten out, but he didn't. In the end. Did Callahan think all the splendor of the golden era was worth this pathetic end? It's like there are two selves battling for dominance inside me. Two roleplay choices, which the player can choose between. One of them has to die. The other gets to live.
So it's like a Mass Effect ending. It's like all the choices up to now don't really matter. Now it's just 50-50. It's like, which one do you want? A good ending or bad ending? Yeah.
No, we've already made our choice, though.
Oh, we have?
Because we chose 3 out, like, there were 5 choices to choose from, and we got 3 out of 5.
I thought it was just going to pop up like a little thing. It's like, do you or don't you?
No, it's based on the traits, the personality we chose.
Oh, okay, that's kind of cool.
But this dialogue is explaining what the 2 choices were.
I see.
So we can see. Honestly, it's a flip of the coin. I reflect on all the kindred I've met, lessons I've learned, choices I've made over these past few nights to make a decision. And then, feeling like I'm simply following the way I conducted this investigation to its logical conclusion. Simply following the way the player chose roleplay tweets for me. Tweets. I respond. Actually, I do. It's like the beast itself flashed in Kadir's eye for a brief moment.
No, you don't.
But I do.
Mr. Winsky.
I'll make a scene. Believe me, every one of you will really, really, really regret it if they don't listen to what I have to say.
We will now.
Oh, absolutely. I stand up and step right in front of Kadir. Don't get me wrong, Kadir has done a spectacular job of selling you a ready-made narrative to package and export to the outside world. Hail to the sheriff and all that. But was this little show really necessary? Do you all really need to hype each other up to believe this fairy tale? What are you getting at, little girl?
Easy for now, my prince.
Insult me all you want. It's only gonna make it all the sweeter when this little girl kicks your ass. I'm getting at the fact that there's a different, more reasonable theory that explains everything. Everything to a T. That's great for you, sweetheart, but do I really need to stay here and listen to it?
You keep starting sentences with but, and it's annoying me.
The door is right there, but on the off chance you get implicated in something tonight, don't you want to be the chance to defend yourself? And what are the chances of me being implicated in anything tonight? I'm pretty sure a lot of kindred in this room are asking themselves the same question right now. In each case, my answer is the same. You won't find out unless you stay right where you are. She stays. All right, where was I? Let's assume that the cause of Boss Callahan's death really was suicide. Our man said, fuck everything, open the window shutters, let the break of dawn take care of all of his problems. And let's assume that he really meant to send a message using that portrait of Lord Castlereagh. Sounds dramatic, but sure, let's go with it. But it is commonly understood that Castlereagh was pushed into taking his own life as a result of a conspiracy against him. Needless to say, his biggest fan wouldn't miss that detail. According to historians, the man's last words imply that some powerful people faced him with a choice, denunciation or death, which, for an ambitious politician, is not a choice at all. So, if you're claiming that Callahan left us a hint, it's a troubling hint, don't you think?
What are you... Enough. We're not dealing in conspiracy theories here.
Of course you're not. I mean, a conspiracy theory backed by the elites is no longer called such. It's propaganda.
Is there a point to this little show you're putting on, Miss Winsky? Other than digging yourself a deeper and deeper metaphorical hole?
Oh, Mr. Arturo, you're still trying to tell yourself it's me who's in trouble and not you. That's adorable.
Listen, you...
No, you listen. Freezes in shock. Definitely not used to resistance. Yeah, let me show you how Nosferatu ass felt it. I don't blame you for peddling propaganda. You're politicians. That's what you do. I'm just laughing at you for coming up with shitty, poorly conceived propaganda.
So will someone stop her, or...
Mr. Addison Payne, you're the architect behind the local Camarilla's current species and general political narrative. Be honest. Does this shit show really meet your standards? We stare into each other's eyes, unblinking, slowly feeling each other out. Eventually, with a barely audible snigger, he whispers to his servant.
How do I put this? I'm always open to a better pitch.
That's all I wanted to hear. All I'm asking for now is a little patience.
That I can spare.
Oh, for goodness sake, Addison, come on, man. You can't possibly...
Silence is what I said. Now let her talk.
Thank you. I'm starting to have fun with this, or more like I'm feeling that weird rush reminding me of the first time I managed to ride a bike. The important thing to keep up the momentum. Focus on pedaling hard. Don't think of falling. You thought you had it all figured out, didn't you? An improperly handled murder scene, a disposable investigator forced to blindly stumble around, hopelessly chasing loose ends. The only problem is that tonight, I realized I was using the wrong tools all along. Instead of a sleuth's magnifying glass, I only needed a journalist's pen. So, I sat down tonight and wrote my first article in almost a year. 2 hours of ceaseless writing, creative juices flowing the entire time, everything miraculously falling into place. Wait, she writes her articles with a pen? Well, I guess she has to because she can't use technology.
Computer,
yeah. Oh, poor woman. And frankly, yeah, I think it's my masterpiece. I get carried away and jump on one of the benches. You want to hear the contents? I know you're all dying to hear the contents. Okay, let's hear the contents. Aisling Sternbridge, High Regent of the Chantry of the Five Boroughs, violently splitting with her student after he discovered her plans for horrifying experiments with blood magic. Her target, Baron Callahan. Said student, currently missing. We've got an exclusive source too. Agathon the Warlock's personal diary. Extra, extra, read all about it.
Chill out, girl.
She's trying to hide that she's nervous, but she's practically shaking. I should be the one shaking. I'm piecing together what little solid, relatively solid intel I have, gluing it together into something coherent with educated assumptions and pure conjecture. At least I'm fairly sure she recognized me as a threat now. Just what I was hoping for. Next up, is that Torque? The brave Anarch Baron, primed to be the next de facto leader of the seat of NYC, might have been manipulating his entire faction to secure the position? This appeasement candidate convinced his key allies that the revolution is not an option at the moment, appealing as a reasonable alternative to his bloodthirsty rivals? His ace in the hole was a strategically efficient ability to establish diplomatic channels with the Camarilla, which he then used as a gain in a series of small concessions from the NYC court. Could it be that Prince Bernard, having realized that her longtime collaborator, Baron Callahan, was just an undesirable asset, found a different, more 2020 candidate to be the leader of the Anarchs? Extra, extra! Read all about it. This was not shaking, she's just angry. This one just seems confused. What about the fact that Torque, Helene Pinard, Thomas Arturo, Carter Vanderwood, and Aisling Sternbridge were all summoned to Callahan's office right before his death? Could it be that the so-called boss employed some final desperate measures to stop his downward spiral into irrelevance, at which point a rushed plan to bring on his demise was executed? Could it be that Kaiser, the legendary New York City info broker, striking deals left and right with both Camarilla and the Anarchs, wiretapped Callahan's office to eavesdrop on those negotiations? Extra, extra. Read all about it. You could cut the atmosphere here with a knife, and it's only getting worse. For them, at least. I feel better than I've felt in years. The fact that nobody's protesting probably means I'm hitting the nail on the head. Could it be that for the entire 21st century, the conflict between the New York City Camarilla and Anarchs was a sham? What if the Second Inquisition's operations in the city were consulted with the leaders of the two sects? How deep does the rot of the corruption go? And what about Sophie Langley's disappearance? Attempts on the unlives of the would-be members of a coterie she attempted to set up alongside her ward last year? Could all of these things be connected? And that's just the tip of the iceberg. Stay tuned, dear readers. Heavy silence befalls the room. When it becomes too overbearing, Kadir breaks it by hawking loudly. His poker face is indecipherable.
Like cawing like a hawk or like hawking a loogie?
Maybe laughing?
Hawk!
And where, pray tell, could one read all about it tomorrow?
10 different places. Among them, of course, a report received by Clan La Sombra's elders in Chicago. Constantly mixing truth with lies. I do know some facts. I did write something. But all in all, it's a confidence grift. Plain and simple.
Have you sent it out already?
No. And Father Leonard is not the channel I used to reach Chicago, in case you were wondering. I took every possible precaution, the way you taught me. I know this hurts him, but I can't show a single weakness right now.
Oh, this is ridiculous. She's probably bluffing.
No, she knows, Thomas. Aisling, how can you be certain? I just am. That diary probably just saved my ass. Thank you, Agathon, I guess. Even if I was bluffing, it's all about the optics. You nominate a special investigator, then the moment she presents her findings, you do what? Subjugate her? Get rid of her? How do you get out of this? I get it. You gave me that role, that title, because you're counting on me remaining the same shitty, useless nobody I was ever since I started working for the court. But funny how that works, isn't it? A week ago, no one would give a shit about what I have to say. Now, I'm a grave threat to this entire Illuminati New World Order arrangement you've got going on.
I still maintain you can't possibly know and prove all the claims you've listed. There's just no way. I know. I checked.
First off, stop bullshitting. You don't know that for sure. Secondly, even if you're right, so what? I've got leverage now. Because of my journalistic past, you gave me a detective's title that wasn't worth a rat's ass in doing detective work. But ironically, it gave me the opportunity to do the best reporting I've ever done. And it doesn't even matter if it contains more facts in your official narrative. You know why? Because the story I offer makes infinitely more sense, morally, emotionally, metaphysically, however you name it. It's a far hotter commodity than the low-rent bullshit you peddle. People nowadays buy into barely coherent crap like 5G and QAnon once they get a hold of my perfectly logical story and see you don't really have anything to counter it. You'll be fucked. Hell, the very fact that none of you have denied any of my allegations yet speaks volumes, doesn't it? The prince is absolutely furious that she's not in charge, visibly scrambling to figure out some counteroffensive. Why would anybody listen to you? You made this story of yours sound completely unrespectable, like tabloid garbage. Tabloid would be fine. Just means it would reach more folks. What do you want? Now we're talking. A primogen position for Clan La Sombra, and a number of privileges befitting the title. You can negotiate the details, but a nice apartment in downtown Manhattan is a must. Do you mean big are we? What could you even bring to the fold as primogen? Turn away from her to speak to the manager. Mr. Payne?
Yes.
As you can see, we've all found ourselves in quite a mess here.
Indeed, to say the least.
If I find us a way out, will you form a professional relationship with me and back the decision to make me primogen? The figure in the wheelchair lets out a sarcastic laugh, sounding like the final wheeze of a dying man.
You're really swinging for the fences, aren't you, child?
I'm not suicidal, most of the time at least. I wouldn't be doing this if I didn't have my sights set sky high.
I understand. So how do you propose we solve this little predicament?
Easy. We give the masses an even better story than the one I just suggested. One that benefits nearly all the parties in this room.
All right then. Thanks to your moxie, you've secured yourself my tentative support, child. Let's hear it.
Thank you very much. Okay then. During my investigation, I recovered some interesting intel about a certain individual. Praise be to Kaiser's abandoned limousine. Said individual would definitely prefer his behind-the-scenes dealings to remain unknown. So, do we already know what this intel is, or is the game surprising us?
You were asking the wrong person.
This game is just like, by the way, here's some other stuff that you apparently already knew. For the last 20 years, he's been an on and off mediator between the different parties in this city. He prides himself on his diplomatic skills. Interestingly enough, though, one of his main motives was selling intel about both the Camarilla and the Anarchs to any party that might be interested. Usually that meant Kaiser. With a reasonable degree of certainty, he can be held responsible for a few recent failed Camarilla operations that weakened Helene Pinard's position. He dreams of being prince, you see. You can already see him awkwardly shifting his weight. Recently, he obtained control over an IT company called Double Spiral, which he uses to influence NYC Kind in ways that further his agenda and weaken his political enemies. He also operates the most powerful law firm in the city. He uses both of these tools so that he can manipulate the mortals to slowly tie a noose around Anarch leaders and court members who he wants gone. I'm talking, of course, about Carter Vanderwiggen. Split second, all eyes in the room are set on him.
People, whatever she throws at me, I'm sure I can explain.
I throw a file recovered from Kaiser's limo at the bench. I thought I was going to throw it at him. Oh. Whatever she throws at me, I'm like, smack! Smack him in the face with it.
Oh, it burned.
Are you sure? Because there's a hell of a lot to explain. Why would Kaiser have a printed file? It would be a flash drive, right? It would be like a thumb drive?
Yeah.
Addison's servants pick up the file so that his master can browse through it. If that's not enough, I'm sure Double Spiral will be happy to deliver us more.
So all the things you said the other night were a steaming pile of bullshit, Carter? As, new friends, and there's a good explanation for everything that's listed there. I swear on my father's grave. Even if there is, I doubt you can justify allowing a girl who's a little more than a fledgling ripping your credibility to shreds in a matter of seconds. You've proven yourself as something infinitely worse than a traitor, Carter. You're a weak traitor. Thomas. Helene.
Oh, you finally stopped smiling. Don't you dare speak to me, you bastard. That was the last element of my strategy. I hope they won't throw any curveballs my way, because from now on, it's all pure improvisation. Just 2 minutes ago, I was the #1 enemy of everyone in this room. Now I'm their unexpected ally, revealing a common foe that some people in this room have wanted to nail since forever. All I'm saying is we got ourselves a perfect scapegoat to pin everything on. Shady dealings between both sects, all the real conspiracies he was involved in, and possibly perfect looks and history. The Schadenfreude accompanying his fall will be enough to keep some kindred in the city happy for years. He shoots me a demented look, one I assume is typically reserved for a future strangling victim.
You can't do this to me.
And why is that?
You're incompetent.
Wow. That's the best you could do. Seriously. Katia!
Yes, my prince.
Seize him.
No, I beg you, please. No. Not the face, not the face. You can come with me without the struggle, or in Thorpe. As usual, it's 3 strikes with me, then you're gone. No, 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 no.
He talks a lot, but
I wasn't
puts up
done.
minimal resistance.
There was like a good 6 or 7 left I didn't get.
Kadir drags him out of the room, and that's the last I ever see of him.
Hear him out the hallway.
For a good minute, everyone just stands there, confused. Then, Addison begins to clap.
Bravo, Miss Sawinski. I haven't seen such an adventurous power play in years. Maybe your generation is not all lost after all.
Does that mean I can count on your support?
Of course. As far as I'm concerned, you're just the kind of ruthless primogen the city needs. Especially now, when one seat will probably be made vacant.
So, what do you say, my prince? Penard recoils a little when she hears me refer to her in such an official manner. My relationship with Addison is a decades-long conflict. By now I know which heels I'm willing to die on. This is not one of them. If you're scared, you're going to get what you want, as well as deserve.
We do have one important condition, though.
Of course you do.
Mr. Payne, as I'm sure you'll agree, being primogen is an important representative position. It demands nothing but a display of impeccable respect for the masquerade and the traditions. Of course. It is my concern that it wouldn't be proper for us to be represented by someone who openly violated the rules of kindred society.
Oh, we can only violate them secretly, but not openly. I get it. Okay.
But of course, that wouldn't do at all. They'd have to openly renounce their old ways at the very least. Indeed, and I think that in the case of Miss Sawinski, who has lived with a mortal single roof for a long time, the best course of action will be her to renounce her and give her up to our sheriff.
They're going to kill Dakota? Because I violated the masquerade. I told her I was a vampire.
Oh, it's a good thing you already broke up.
I don't want her to die, though.
Maybe they'll just, turn her. Oh, maybe she'll be a ghoul.
No, they're just going to kill her.
Yeah, probably.
Maybe they'll let me make her a ghoul. Can I ask them to let me make her a ghoul?
Don't ask me, ask Poland. That kind of gesture would prove the new primogen's dedication to the court beyond any reasonable doubt.
Oh, you are a bastard. I hate you.
Yes, I definitely agree. Her ambition and pride are admirable, but it would be prudent of us to demand a display of humility as well.
Sadistic fucks.
My thoughts exactly. Well then, your answer, miss? What's so funny, Miss Sawinski?
I see it in your eyes, Arturo. You naive fool. You think you're so goddamn clever. You think I would have gotten this far if I didn't think it all through. There's only one response. I agree. Do what you must.
Yeah.
He's speechless. He thought he had me pinned. I simply responded with checkmate.
I guess that solves our problem then. Let's head out for now. It's been an exhausting evening and dawn is nearing. Yes, let's do just that.
So wait, she really gave up Dakota because she was going to let Dakota... I get her breaking up with Dakota because she's crazy and stupid, but wanting Dakota to die,
No, it sounds like she sent Dakota, away, off camera or something.
Oh, is that why she broke up with her in the first place?
Probably.
And now they'll never find her?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't get that at all from anything the game provided me.
Well,
you had to explain it to me.
Well, I just kind of pieced that together now. It's the one thing that I've understood thus far.
It was the Xanatos gambit. It's just her breaking up with her girlfriend. So the entire breakup fight was fake?
And what did you lose? Everything.
But the breakup fight didn't feel fake in the narrative. I don't buy that at all.
She had to make her believe it, but no, it's insanely stupid. But
oh my god,
it is what it is.
If it was a movie and I saw it on screen, I could believe it. But being the character, I should know. This is stupid. He walks Payne out, looking unstrung and defeated. Soon after, Kadir was ordered to take care of Dakota. He asked me if I want to know what was done to her. My reply was honest. Not really interested, no. Oh, so they did find her. So maybe my breakup was real and I really just hate her now. And I want her to die.
Oh. Huh?
That's a lot darker than it was implying it should be.
Well, in any clearly written narrative, that would be more evident, wouldn't it?
Yeah, they should have had her really hurt me or something. Look, I've graduated from cigarettes to cigars now. I'm a boss, bitch.
Yeah, primogens.
He said that I'd gotten myself into a terrible game, the rules of which defied comprehension. Yeah, so this is how every single fucking Vampire the Masquerade things end. The person that you were rooting for to be like, you're the one that's like, can survive. They turn out to be like a dark, twisted, awful nihilist that's just throwing everyone else under the bus, killing or be killed. Like, there's no hope of like goodness in this world whatsoever.
Oh no, you're looking for, in Vampire Mask? No, of course not. You know,
I don't know that I like that. Like, there's other vampire franchises that have goodness and love in them, despite the monstrousness. And this is just all like, no, we must shed all our feelings and in our entire heart and just be like total, awful, horrible people to survive. It's so sad. I don't like it. I guess this is not the franchise that speaks to me. I want to see love triumph over this nonsense.
Well, it's not over yet. Maybe we'll get lucky.
I replied that if I'm winning and climbing upward, I must be doing something right. I do not believe, even based on choosing the dark route, that winning and climbing upward is what she really believes. Like, that can't be her real goal. Her real goal, based on the game we played, was doing the right thing despite the risks. Like, she came out with the story not to climb upward. Yes, climb upward saved her from being dead because she's not suicidal, but because she's right and she's proud of being right and she doesn't want to let anyone bullshit her because she's a reporter and she gets to the truth, and the reporter is the core of her personality. It's not about climbing upward, it's about like free information, freedom of press.
Well, this is what happens when you take like a freeform narrative and try to shoehorn it into one of two predetermined endings, I think. There's a lot of sacrifices need to be made.
I mean, this is a cool ending. I like how twisted it was, but I'm still frustrated. Like, there's something not quite lining up here and it's frustrating me.
Oh, you're just now realizing this?
Still, we don't talk too much these days beyond professional interactions. I have a much bigger world to think about now, one that fills me with happiness. Really, Julia, you're happy? I do not believe that you're happy. Having power, you've never wanted power. That's never been your character. That's never been your goal. That's just like cliche vampire, like cheesy stereotype, and that wasn't this character. Like, they've taken vampire cliches and slapped them on the ending. I'm very frustrated. Come to think of it, my current state reminds me of those few halcyon days right after my embrace. It might not last, but at this point, I have to ask myself, what does? It's always about the next bigger rush. I'm writing speeches and official communications for the NYC Camarilla these days, helping out Payne from time to time too. Funny, I've never felt more accomplished, more fulfilled as a journalist than I am now. Like, really, is my truth getting out there? Because that's what would fulfill a journalist, is if your truth was getting out there. It sounds like you're just bullshitting and that you're like the thing that you once hated.
Oh, yeah.
I wanted to see her triumph as like, you know, the dark way, but triumph as a journalist to be like, I'm telling everyone the truth because the truth is what matters, and freedom of speech and freedom of press and freedom of information, and we're not going to have government secrets, and just like blow the lid off everything.
Well, this is why you write better stories than this.
I mean, this would be fine if she went this route, if it was more justified, if it was built up of her selling out and giving in, and it was like a defeat, but she's treating it like a triumph. I don't get how it feels triumphant to her. Like, I get her going this route, but not the feeling that's I'm supposed to accept with it. I don't get how she feels fulfilled by this. Like, she should be like, I survived, but I'm not fulfilled. But you know what? I decided survival is more important than being fulfilled, and here I am surviving, and maybe I'll be fulfilled another day when I can take this whole thing down and burn down the entire city. Like, that's what she should be feeling right now.
It's like, I'm now the cancer inside the Camarilla.
Exactly. She shouldn't be feeling fulfilled yet. She should be upset and biding her time. Karen is visiting in a few days to congratulate me on the behalf of the entire Chicago-based clan. Apparently, I've not only met her expectations, but exceeded them. She keeps bragging to everyone about how great her eye was in picking me. It's only these shadows that keep getting to me. I notice them everywhere these nights, and there are more and more of them surrounding me as time goes on. I wonder why. But it doesn't matter. I like to think they're being cast because my future looks so bright. Honey, you are delusional. This is just delusion. Just delusion. So apparently that was the good ending we got. The other ending is the bad ending, but like they're not both bad. They're just like one is bad for her and one is good for her. So I guess the other one we like don't do it the La Sombra way and then we get punished for it. So maybe we do the right thing.
Yeah, it's like, you know, she keeps her mouth shut, doesn't change her station, but she goes back to Dakota or something maybe.
Or she doesn't keep her mouth shut. She tells the truth and then she says, I already sent the articles to Chicago. You're all going down. And they're like, well, you're going to die. And she's like, it's for a good cause. And then she dies. I think that's probably how it goes. That's my prediction. Because that's like a martyr kind of thing, which is like the only way to be good is to be a martyr. No, you can be good without being a martyr. There's good ways to be good and fulfilled and happy and successful. Ugh, this world is so dark and nihilistic. It makes me sad. Sorry to all the Vampire the Masquerade fans out there. I know I'm breaking your heart. You're like, I thought Maven was one of us. And I'm like, yeah, this world.
Well, we are, but we also have standards. Did we have the same kind of confused frustration with the last game, too?
We had a different kind of confused frustration with the ending of the last game. Because the ending of the last game, Sophie was trying to take down the prince, but then Thomas Arturo showed up at the end. And he was like,
oh, right. He just like Deus Exes.
Yeah, it was really frustrating.
Let me resolve this.
Well, that is Vampire the Masquerade, Shadows of New York. We have finished the game. I did enjoy playing the game. I like the aesthetics of the game. I liked a lot of the characters in the game. I was frustrated with some of the writing. I was frustrated with some of the ideas, but I mean, as far as gameplay goes, I didn't feel like there's a lot of things that I did. Though I enjoyed the story. I enjoyed it kind of the way I enjoy reading a book, I guess. But if you're looking for a game to like play a game, you're really just making one choice in this entire game.
Well, it's a visual novel. That's about as interactive as it gets.
No, I feel like Coders of New York had more interaction. Like, the ending was stupid, but like the way the game goes, because you could choose, you had 4 people to choose from, and you had to make 2 friends, right?
Yeah.
So you could get 4 different stories that were novels you were reading, but here it's just like one straight shot. So there, I think Coders maybe has more replay value. Though I have been told that it's fun to play this game twice and get the second ending the other time just to see the difference. My prediction of what the second ending is right, please tell me in the comments. If I'm wrong, tell me and then maybe I will go try playing it again.
Or you just YouTube it. Sorry, that's what I would do. But I'm a
No, if my prediction's right, I'm not going to bother playing it.
Oh, okay.
We are also playing Vampire the Masquerade Swan Song, and we're going to continue playing that game. We are 3 episodes in, and we're going to keep it up.
Yep.
It's supposed to be a really short game, but because we are going through all the lore that the game offers, it's taking much longer.
Verbose game.
It's a very verbose game, and people in the comments keep telling me, this lore is unimportant, you don't need it. But why is it there? As someone trying to solve a mystery, I feel like I have to look at everything. I just don't get how I'm supposed to remember everything. If this was real life, I would have like a notebook or something and keep all this in, but I shouldn't have to keep a notebook to play a game, is my opinion.
That's why we used to do it like way back when you had to like draw maps and stuff, you know?
Yeah. So Swan Song, if you're into that, please follow us on that playthrough. We're going to keep going with that. 1 video a month private from my Patreon. Patreon's usually for a couple weeks, and then it goes public on YouTube. So if you want to get it faster, join my Patreon. You can see it all there. Vampire news. Yeah, I'm just going to talk about...
Well, no, nothing's really happening.
So last week was San Diego Comic-Con. If you're listening to this on YouTube, it's probably been a few weeks by now. But the trailer for Interview with the Vampire TV show dropped, and I had a lot of feelings, and I made a whole giant video about it, which kind of took over my life in like... It was like 5 days straight of
I'm still very impressed you were able to get like 90 minutes of content out of a 90-second video.
I mean, it was 60 minutes. Well, it was 2 hours of footage that I trimmed down to 60 minutes of footage out of a 2-minute video. But yeah, it's an hour-long video about an entire breakdown of what that trailer is for the new TV show coming out in October that was premiered at San Diego Comic-Con. There was also another vampire show that was premiered there called Reginald the Vampire, which when I watched it, I was like, hey, is this based off the book Fat Vampire by Adam Rex? Because it screams that. It's like he's a teenager with the slushies and everything. He's a fat teenage vampire. No, it is based off the book Fat Vampire by the other guy who wrote another book with the same name and self-published it. Adam Rex's book is a real published novel. It's a YA novel. And the other one, the self-published novel, is an adult book. And the only thing that this show keeps from the adult book is the name of the character. Everything else is a ripoff of Adam Rex. So my theory is that they wanted to option the Adam Rex book for a TV show. And they couldn't. So they optioned this tiny little self-published novel instead, also about a fat vampire. Used the name of that character and then stole the plot and everything else about Adam Rex's book and used it for the TV show. And I was looking on Adam Rex's Twitter to see if he made any comment about this. He's been completely zip-lipped silent, so I'm just wondering if there's drama going on in this vampire TV show. I forget what it's called, but it's about a fat vampire teenager. It's based on the book Fat Vampire.
It's called I Was a Fat Teenage Vampire.
No, they didn't call it fat anything because, of course, they're not going to do that on TV. But yeah, that also dropped at San Diego Comic-Con. I've been watching First Kill. I'm still watching that, watching it slowly. What We Do in the Shadows Season 4 dropped. We got to catch up on that. There's a few episodes out already. Yep. Lots of vampire things going on. Yes. I've been planning for the Vampire Ball, which I'm going to in October. We are now in August, which means the Vampire Ball is only 2 months away. And I got a lot of planning to do. I got to figure out what I'm going to wear, where I'm going to eat, what I'm going to do in New Orleans. If you're going to the Vampire Ball in New Orleans this Halloween, I want to meet you. We should hang out at the ball.
Is this the first one that Anne Rice came attend, or was that?
She often didn't attend. She didn't attend last year because even though she wasn't dead yet, she was in a coma at the time, which none of us knew about. Yeah, they kept her health secret from all of us. She attended the one that I went to in 2014. And then I think she attended one more after that, and then she stopped attending.
She did it for as long as she could. That's admirable.
Yeah, she would attend on and off over the years, but it's just a ball full of fans of Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles. It's not really about Anne Rice Vampire Chronicles. It's just people who like those vampires are the kind that come. And you have to wear a formal dress. You can't just show up in goth club wear. You have to wear a formal ball gown or cosplay or the theme, which this year is Egyptian, so you can show up.
You don't have fluffy sleeves. Get out. Get out.
You can show up in an Egyptian dress and be culturally appropriative or something,
No, I guess.
Just like King Tut, something really racist.
Well, it could be like a shat, what was the one with Aaliyah in it? That one.
Queen of the Damned.
Yeah, that's the one.
So, yep. Do you have any vampire news for us, Paul?
Me?
Yeah.
I get all my vampire news from you. We still have to play that other vampire game. Were we going to stream at some point? We could stream that.
Yeah, we could. So the thing about Vampire is everyone keeps asking me when I'm going to play it, when I do it, and then everyone else tells me it's boring and you won't like it, or certain parts of it are good, but other parts of it are bad. So maybe the combat is bad, but the story is good. Something like that.
Well, that's why it could be good to stream. You can just go in there and play with it, and I'll just breeze through it. See if it's worth.
We could. Also, speaking of streams, show up. I do one live stream every month. If you like listening to me just talk like this, come to my live streams. They're for the Vampire Book Club, but after I'm done talking about the books, we just hang out and I talk and stuff, and we just do live stream stuff. So if you want the Maven solo podcast live stream, come to my Vampire Book Club live streams. Because
or they can join the Discord and have you all to yourself.
But there's something certain about the live stream. I want people there in the chat interacting with me and asking me questions, so I have things to answer.
It's usually pretty lively.
Yeah, good little live streams. But don't be scared off because they're called Vampire Book Club. Vampire Book Club is just the excuse. The real reason we're there is to hang out and chat and live stream together. So please come to my live streams. I do one every month. Usually it's around the middle of the month because book club ends on the 13th. If the 13th falls on a weekend, I'll push it back to the following Monday, something like that. So, yes. All right, we finished a game. That's 3 games under our belt. 3.
Oh yeah. Bloodlines,
Vampire the Masquerade, Bloodlines,
Coteries, and Shadows.
Yep. And next up is Swan Song.
It's all within the Masquerade.
It sure is.
Umbrella.
Sure is. Yeah, good stuff. You have any last final thoughts, feelings?
When's Bloodlines 2 coming out?
Every time you say that, it gets pushed back another 6 months.
Crap. I'll just do my Vanderweed. No.
Thank you all for joining us. We appreciate you following this game for 11 episodes with us. And, you know, yeah. Blah.
It's late. This game has really sucked the life out of us.
We gotta end it with a blah. We always end it with blah.
Oh no, whenever I end anything with Shadows New York, blah is first and foremost on my mind.
But you gotta say it like a vampire.
Blah. Blardy bloog.